Welcome to Scorched Earth and your general week ahead reading for the 28th of June to the 4th of July for all of the earth signs. So that's Taurus, Capricorn and Virgo. I usually do all of the signs together in one long video, but when I sat down to do them, I was instructed that they needed to be split into 4 by each of the elements. And I'm actually kind of glad that that's happened, because it's turned out that the readings have been very, very long. And we would have been looking at like 4.5, 5 hours for the whole thing, and that would have been just an utter nightmare. The other thing that I was told was that this week it is really, really important that where possible you are able to detach from what is going on in the 3D around you, you know, the minutiae of the day-to-day, and take a broader look at what is going on in your life. Now, this is interesting because the weekly readings are literally about the day-to-day stuff, like that. That's why we cover them, and actually it tends to be the monthly overviews that tend to be taking that broader view of things. However, I've had the nudge, and I'm not one to ignore that when that happens. So there seems to be something very spiritual shifting for all of the signs at the moment, and that's what you're being asked to look at, right? Look at the broader story of your life as it's unfolding, and don't get bogged down in what is happening right in front of you. Now, to that end, I've pulled out this deck here, which is the Spiral Oracle by Leela Acuna. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull your theme for the week from this deck here. We will clarify with the tarot, and we'll move on and do the rest of the stuff with the tarot. But this is the broad lesson, you know, the broad meditation, if you will, for the week as to what it holds for you. And we're going to start with Capricorn. So I'll give these 5 shuffles and we'll get on with this. So 5, 4, 3, 2, fuck's sake. Dropping F-bombs 2 minutes into the video. And 1. And Capricorn, your card is Pilgrimage. Read you what the words say in the book, because there's been a lot of effort gone into this, and I really like the way that it's written. I am on the journey of life. I take advantage of this journey to revise limiting beliefs that have blighted my past. For too long I've surrendered to my weaknesses, and now I see clearly a task before me. I will not put it off any longer. I am capable. I can do it. In one insightful moment, I cut the chains. They did not know it was impossible, so they did it. This is all about courage, this card, Capricorn. Today I look life in the eye and accept that we are dancing a dance of joys, illusions, and sorrows. I have not come here to be perfect. I have come here to be real. When I expand, fear diminishes. I leave the shores of safety to venture out in this journey. I take a leap of faith and I receive my rewards. That is so on point for you, Capricorn. I can't even begin. It's that sentence there that sums it all up. I have not come here to be perfect. I have come here to be real. And is this not the journey that you've been engaged on, Capricorn? Actually, for probably a year now, this shift has been occurring in you, but it seems to be gaining traction over the last couple of months and really pushing you in a particular direction. So I'm using the Tarot of the Abyss for you for the main cards. So let's have a look and see how we navigate this week for Capricorn. Thank you. We have the 5 of Cups and we have the Chariot. Again, this is reflecting beautifully what has just been said in that oracle card there, right? It's about acknowledging your own pain. It's about acknowledging your own loss. It is about acknowledging those things in your past that have made you feel like this. You did not come here to be perfect, and yet perfection is that which Capricorns seek, right? It's always about headed towards that point of perfection. That's why your work ethic is so incredible, you know, sort of thing. But it's here with the Chariot. Now, the Chariot is, for me, it's a card of balance. It is also a card of setting goals and, you know, smashing through them, all that sort of thing. But it's also, for me, a card of shadow work. And it seems to me that you are being called to look at your shadow this week, right? Accept what you are, right? You haven't come here to be perfect, and yet still as you are perfect, Capricorn. You are exactly where you are supposed to be, when you are supposed to be there, and the struggles that are unique to you as a sign are all part of your spiritual journey. You know, we sign up to come here and learn these particular lessons, and for you this time, these are the lessons that you have sought to learn for yourself. And the acknowledgement of pain and loss and grief from your past is what is being brought to the fore, you know, through the shadow work, so that you can learn to accept yourself. Because acceptance is the key here. Acceptance is the thing that we are looking for. So let's have a look at your love and interpersonal relationships. What's that about Capricorn? Whoa, we have the Fool. This is beautiful. This is really, really positive. The Fool is the first step on a new journey in a new cycle of your life. You know, a lot of the messages that were coming through for you in this last month or so have been highly cautionary, getting you to act now. You know, not acting wasn't really an option if you wanted to keep hold of the things that were important to you. The fact that the Fool card has appeared here, it does feel like it's a starting again. You've got a tabula rasa, you know, whatever was required of you, it looks like you have done it. And now there's a liberation that comes with it. There's a whole new path that's opening up in front of you because you pushed yourself out, you know, because you pushed yourself into that place where you were uncomfortable. You displayed courage, Capricorn. Tell me about the Fool. We've got the Hierophant and we've got the Six of Wands. King of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck here, all very much speaking about commitment. We have Taurus here and we have Taurus here. You could be dealing with the Taurus in, you know, a very close relationship, but even if you're not, it's about that which you are committed to, you know. Now, there's never any question about Capricorn's commitment to something. If you commit to something, that's it, you're all in. But often that is misinterpreted. Well, over time, it gets misinterpreted by other people who speak a different kind of language of connection, you know. It seems to me like you have addressed it, or certainly in this week you are addressing it, and it's lightening up the load everywhere, right? Your commitment is re-established, and we have victory here with this Six of Wands. You know, we have you doing what it was that you set out to do. This is a Leo card. Leo is associated with courage. You did it again, you know. I said that before the cards even hit the table. You know, you're demonstrating courage. This is wonderful. I like this for you very, very much, Capricorn. Let's have a look at your material environment. We have the Magician. So every bit as capable as you are, you know, there's more capability within you for shaping the world as you want it. Now, in the material sense, when it comes to your stability, your security, your financial security, you know, even like, you know, where you live, your position at work, all of those kind of things, like that is something that's always been, you know, a place of achievement for you. I mean, we have that down for sure. But what is shifting in you, what is being asked of you this week, and what I feel has been very much catalyzed by this, you know, which was people very close to you kind of prodding you and going like, dude, you know, what's going on here? It seems to be rippling out. So the Magician here is not about you just continuing on that path of, you know, material success that you have been in, you know, being very level-headed and very real about what is required for you to survive in this world. But it's actually about reshaping it and bringing in these new lessons that you are kind of allowing to come on board now. Acceptance of those lessons, acceptance of yourself, and beginning a process of reshaping your material world to reflect better this perhaps new set of values that you are starting to create for yourself, taking all of the other things into consideration. Tell me about the Magician, please. Yeah, it could be well that a lot of what you've come to understand, or what you will come to understand this week, is that some of your thought processes have been very, very narrow. They've been quite blinkered. You haven't seen the entire picture here. And it feels like as the new picture comes in, right, there's some stuff that's got to be juggled. There's some stuff that's got to be adjusted. Maybe you need to not bring your work home with you and work for 6 hours in the evening before going to bed and doing that, you know. Maybe you only need to do that 5 days a week, you know. I'm just kind of throwing up examples here. It's going to be different for each of you. Maybe where your finances are concerned, you need to be a little less, you know, incredibly disciplined, and every now and again let yourself have a bit of a treat, a bit of a night out, you know, and take your partner out for something to eat, you know, just spend a bit of quality time with them. Whatever it is, there's shifts and adjustments that are going on here, but it's all coming from you, and I love that. Right? I love the fact that the magician here is depicted as a tree, because it's very earthy energy for a start. Rain tree is very earthy, but very rooted. It's very stable, but yet there is this element of creativity and a bit of free-flowing. I'm not going to say chaos because that's not quite what I mean, but something a little bit more free-flowing coming into the way that you are interacting with your material environment. Yeah, where you realize that you're thinking was very narrow, or you know, it was excluding other people from the experience, kind of breaking that open a little bit now and finding a way to just make it work. You know, you're incredibly capable and efficient creatures, so new information comes in, you absorb that, you assimilate it, and then it's like, right, well, what do I adjust now? What can I let go? What needs to stay? It's almost like a restructuring of values as much as anything else. I've already said that, haven't I? But maybe like a reordering of priorities slightly, right? Realizing where it is that you might have been too self-disciplined, right? It's all work and no play, something like that. Just kind of relaxing the reins just a little bit. Like, it's not giving up power, and it's not stopping the work, it's not stopping the task, but it is allowing just a little bit of something, a little bit of breathing room in that. Sorry about the noise. I hope it will stop soon if you can hear the banging coming from next door. So what should Capricorn focus on this week, please? The star. That's beautiful. The star is a card of the future. Right? It's Aquarius energy. It's very forward thinking. It's very futuristic. Thinking about your goals and your plans. You know, we've got the star and the chariot, which are both talking about, you know, where you want to end up. But it's where you want to end up in view of all of this new information that you've had come in, not just about other people and your relationships with other people, but about the relationship that you have with yourself. You know, where has your thought processes been so very narrow, so very focused, that you forgot to look at the view here, there, and everywhere? You know, it's like it's a repurposing, not repurposing, it's a shifting about. Like, there's shifting and moving going on all over the place here, because the star is also hope. And it's also vulnerability. And there's a certain strength in vulnerability too, Capricorn, if you know how to navigate it and you know how to sit carefully with it. But it's also fundamentally, for me, a card of connection. And that is something that is quite difficult in the Capricorn experience, right? I am generalizing. This is broad. But when I say connection, I mean like true intimacy. Ultimately. Now, the nature of Capricorn is that you will need to honor the fact that you do need to spend time alone, but not 100% of the time, you know. And by time alone, I don't just mean you just being alone, you know. I'm also talking about the time alone that you spend on, you know, building your empire, because that's what Capricorn does, right? You're a builder, and we've seen the whole notion of empire down here with the emperor, right? But an empire is nothing if you don't have anyone to share it with, I don't think, you know. It's a softening, Capricorn. That's what it is. It's not compromising your goals. It's not compromising what you want to achieve. It's not compromising any of the work that you've already put in to get yourself to where you are. But it is a softening, perhaps, of the way that you get there, the route that you get there. I swear to God, I'm going to go next door and just headbutt people. I'm not going to do that. Star, please. Yeah, I mean, this is my look. We've got the Knight of Wands, and we've got here the Queen of Pentacles. The Queen of Pentacles is Capricorn energy there. It's about nurturing yourself, not just the plan, not just your goals, not just the things that you want to achieve, but you as a person, Capricorn, because that's the thing that's kind of fallen by the wayside. I swear, God. But we also have here this Sagittarian energy of the Knight of Wands. It's like, make time for you. Make time to do things that would qualify as self-care for you. But also take some time to have a bit of fun. You know, you don't have to go total, like, you know, 100% Sagittarius and go on a 3-day bender, you know, or anything like that. I'm not dissing Sagittarians there, but you know, you totally have it within you to do that sort of thing. Even if you learn, you know, a modicum of self-control later on. Like, everything about your experience is often about denial of pleasure in the now. It's about delayed gratification. And you know what? There's room for both those approaches. You can be sensible. You can be realistic. You can plan. You can do all of these things. But you can also make time for you, and you can make time for fun. You can make time to enjoy what it is that you're building as you are building it. It's not all about the destination, Capricorn. It is also about the journey. Let's have a look at this. What should Capricorn avoid this week, please? Oh, fuck. King of Swords. Right? The whole purpose of the work that you are undergoing at the moment is to expand yourself out. It is to open your heart. It is to allow yourself to take on board more than just the things that you have been focused on. If the King of Swords is anything, he's extremely rational, he's extremely logical, he's extremely all of these things. There isn't a lot of room for fun in that. There isn't a lot of room for connection in that, you know, aside from the exchange, full and frank exchange of ideas, you know, and maybe that is how you have fun, right? And that's totally a thing. But it's a bit cold. Okay? That's the thing with the King of Swords. It's very cerebral, and it's not coming from here. And this is the work that you're doing at the moment, Capricorn. It's opening this all up. It doesn't all have to be about facts and figures and things. I could cry, I swear to God. Think about the King of Swords, please. Yeah. We've got the Knight of Swords in the Tower underneath there. It's like the Tower doesn't need to be this big dramatic scene that we see here. It doesn't need to destabilize you. It doesn't need to compromise, like I said, any of those things that you have put in place, those things that you want in your life. It doesn't have to do any of those. It can just be a minor course correction if you look at it the right way, if you go about it the right way. And the right way is acceptance of yourself, you know. But with this Knight of Swords in reverse, it's like you can't really intellectualize your way out of this. It's like you're using the wrong brain, the wrong organ, rather, to try and make sense of this situation. This situation is emotional in nature, and the broad strokes of what you are experiencing this this week is finding a way to incorporate that emotional stuff in with what you are, right? with what you build, with what you want for your life. It's finding a way to incorporate the sea into the sea goat that you are. You know, you're an incredibly sensitive creature, and this sensitivity has always been there. But the King of Swords has covered it over, right? And so we want to push the King of Swords to the side just a little bit, because he's very active in a lot of other aspects of your life, and he does not need to be involved here. It's about letting your heart lead the way, but whilst also tempered by your mind. Right, Capricorn, I hope that helps. I'm going to leave it there for you. I'm going to tidy all of these away, and we will move on to... Who will we move on to? Move on to Taurus. Let's get these straight. So, my beloved bulls, I hope you are all well. Same applies for you. I'm going to shuffle these 5 times. We'll take the top card, and that will be your theme for the week. It will be, as if you will, you know, your meditation for the week, something to be thinking about. So we go 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Your card is Healing Path. Oh, did somebody else get that? I think one of the other signs got this one. One of the watercolor one. No, actually, do you know what? I'm not even going to pretend like I remember, but I'm pretty sure one of the other signs got this. So, Taurus. I carry the wounds of my land in the wrinkles of my face, and my inner revolution becomes my hands nourishing you, nourishing me. Step by step, I am going through my own anguish, insecurities and terrors. I burn like fire with these emotions, and then I observe them calmly, not letting myself be carried away. Motionless like an ancient island, well grounded amidst stormy waves, I stand firm. Without even thinking about it, my strength expands, takes root, and grows in all directions. I know the strength I need. The truth is that I have always found courage, the courage to dive deep into the ocean of my being. I know the strength we all need. I always find the courage. I come back to myself. I return to the world. This card is about mastery, Taurus. Little by little, I feel the energy returning to my body. I leave my cave with clear eyes and all the confidence I have gained. The time has come to assume my role. I am guiding a journey, regenerating a world. I recognize my strength. I incorporate it, and I hold it into my hands like a sacred transforming fire. Well, fuck, Taurus. If this is not the path that you have been on for the last 18 months, then I don't know what it is. Interestingly, I've just realized as I've been reading this, it didn't come up for another sign. It came from me. It came up from me in a reading that I did for myself yesterday. So there you go. Like, we're healing path, brethren, sistren, whatever. But you are like an ancient island, well grounded against the stormy waves. Like, this is what you have been developing over the last 18 months. That strength has always been there, but you never recognized it in yourself. And now you see it. And now there is far less fear about what you have to navigate on your path, on your healing path, you know, to personal growth, to personal transformation. Let's have a look and see for you. I am using the Tarot of the Abyss as I did with Capricorn. Could I have a card 2 for healing path? Hello. We have the Hanged Man. How about the healing path at Taurus, please? And we have the Ten of Swords. We have the Eight of Cups at the bottom of the deck. It feels like this could be a bit of a challenging week. This could be a bit of a testing week, in so much as it's bringing up things that maybe you thought you dealt with, but maybe not. I feel like it's kind of stuff that you hadn't really realised was still operative within you, and it's kind of coming to the surface this week. It would suggest, perhaps, that you are kind of triggered into it, that there's some sort of catalyst that causes this for you. But the important thing to remember, you know, in this point of detachment that we've been talking about, kind of trying to elevate and look at your life story a little bit more, is that you have been very low before and you have come back. You have learned to navigate the stormy waters and you know your way back. So whatever comes up this week for you, whatever comes up this week for you, it's the right time for it to come up. And maybe it is that it couldn't come up until you've done all of the work that you've been doing for the last 18 months. You know, it could well be something like that. But what we've got here is the Ten of Swords. Right? Very difficult, very challenging energy. But here we've got the Hanged Man. So maybe this is a situation that you have thought about before. And what is required of you here is a change in perspective. Right? Now, one of the things I absolutely adore about this Tarot of the Abyss, which I didn't know until I got the deck out and I looked at it, was that it has two depictions of the Three of Swords and two depictions of the Ten of Swords, and they are different. And they speak to the traditional meanings here of the Ten of Swords and the Three of Swords, very familiar pictures that we're used to seeing. But then we have another perspective, right? And I might do an Instagram post so you can see. In fact, I've already put it on Instagram. So if you're interested, go and have a look, because there's a photo of them in there. The Ten of Swords in the other depiction is a chap smiling at an owl, right? There is the wisdom that is contained within the lessons that have been so very fucking painful and challenging when we learn to look at them the right way. In the Three of Swords, we've got a woman who's holding a bird. And there's a bird-shaped hole where her heart is, you know, and she's looking anguished. You know, she feels like she's lost a part of herself. The other one is a chap looking in a book, and there's just all of this information is coming into his head. Like, there's so much that you learn from these difficult experiences if you are open to do it. If you hold on to the fact that you are strong, you know that you can navigate this. You can turn the meanings of this, you can turn the depictions of this card from this to something else. And that's exactly what the Hanged Man is asking you to do here. It's asking you to change your perspective on a life event, a series of life events, something that really kicked you down to the floor, and see the wisdom that is contained therein. See the beauty of the gift that has been given to you in that experience. And I know that for a lot of people that is very difficult. I can feel people flinching away from the screen as I'm saying it. But you are not here as a human Taurus all that there is. You're a spirit having a human experience, right? You're literally the universe experiencing itself. You need to pull away from, you know, that very restrictive version of reality that says you get up, you go to work, you earn loads of money, you meet somebody, you know, you get married and you have kids, you buy a house. Look at this, the order's all out because I've got no idea how one's supposed to do these things, right? And then you work for 40 years, you retire, if you're lucky you get 10 years, and then you fucking shuffle off the mall. Cool, well done. That was your human existence. No, you are at a point where you know that there is much more going on here than just that. You were not born to work, pay taxes and die. You just weren't, right? It's all about the learning. It's all about the lesson here for you. And there is a beautiful opportunity for growth coming up if you can turn your perspective around, right? You are on a healing path, Taurus. This is the next step on the healing path. Just remember how fucking strong you are, right? Remember, the longer that you're here, like that ancient island, the stronger you get, right? It's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So let's have a look at your love and relationships. Interpersonal relationships. We have the Empress. Oh, that's gorgeous. Taurian energy for me. But the really beautiful, creative, free-flowing aspect of Taurian energy, you know, that which nurtures, that which protects but also allows to run free somewhat. You know, it's not that very restrictive, very prescriptive version of friendship or relationships. You know, it's kind of, it's allowing the wonder of the moment in. Now, this Empress energy feels to me like you are feeling very secure with the people that are around you at the moment, whether those are partners, friends, family, whatever. We've got the Ace of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck here, which is really, really beautiful. And it suggests perhaps a new opportunity an opportunity to meet new people coming up. Maybe you're taking a class in something, or maybe you just started a new job or something. You've got a whole new, group of people to get to know. But it's possibly an opportunity to kind of change the way that you deal with people altogether. I don't know. That's kind of maybe a bit out there, actually. Tell me about the Empress. We've got the Eight of Swords and the King of Pentacles. The Eight of Swords is in the reverse, which I really, really like, because this is mental restriction. This is keeping yourself mentally in a cage. And what I said with that Empress energy is just really free-flowing. It's relaxed. There's no control there. There's no restriction there. It feels to me like in your personal relationships, whether they be with a partner, a spouse, friends, family, whatever, you're getting closer and closer to your center. You're getting closer and closer to being able to just be Taurus with no explanation, no apology, no nothing, accepting that some people will dislike you, and you know what? Okay, because that says more about them than it says about you. As long as you're not going around and acting like an absolute bastard, then it's not. And you're not doing that, Taurus, because you want harmony. You want to be, in a herd that is content. It's not like it's a very, very low vibe Taurus who goes in and starts trying to sow division, and actually it probably wouldn't even express itself in that way. It would be more like telling people what they thought you wanted to hear, or maybe gossiping about people because it would get you in closer with someone else. Like, that's not the kind of Taurus that I am reading for here in these readings. It's not the kind of Taurus that's been here, that we've been on a journey with for the last 18 months. You are something, an order of magnitude above that, right? But it feels like you're really kind of coming into your own, right? And there's almost a delight that I sense here in the quality of the interactions that you're having now that your authenticity is being allowed to shine, where you don't feel like you have to suck your ribs in and be smaller than you are. Now that you're okay taking up space and being just like, here I am, I'm a Taurus, I'm taking up space, it's cool. I'm a big animal, I'm supposed to do that. I am strong. I am going to demonstrate that, And the people that are around you don't take that personally. They don't, oh, look at her, because again, it's all about the projection of other people. You've stopped internalizing it. You stopped paying attention to it, and you're so much more content. You're so much more you than you ever have been. And it feels like those people around you are just supporting that energy. It's absolutely beautiful. Let's have a look at your material environment. That one wanted to come out. Queen of Cups. So everything very harmonious and wonderful in your material environment, whether that is your work, whether it's your finances, whatever it is. You might be finding that actually the opportunities are just kind of coming to you. Remember, the Queen of Cups is very receptive. Like, you have a reputation as someone who has great compassion, somebody who is really there for other people, and maybe there is something about that that's made you stand out at work. And everybody's gone, oh wow, like, that was really nice of her. I was so thoughtful, because that's who you are. And you're just letting it show without kind of feeling like you need to push it on people. Look, here I am, the person who is very thoughtful all the time. It's not about that. It's about that very natural, free-flowing expression of who you are. But it seems like there's stuff coming to you. It's really good. Tell me about the Queen of Cups. Got the World card and the Ace of Cups. Ooh-wee. We got the Two of Wands at the bottom of the deck. Could it be that you are starting to feel like you need a bit of a change, Taurus? Because we've got the World and we've got the Ace of Cups at the bottom of the deck. Like, it seems to me like you are more interested in pursuing your happy than you are pursuing, validation, status, promotions, or whatever at work. Your work ethic is something that's really, really important to you. And work will always be something that plays a significant role in how you define yourself, but it is not one of the only ways that you define yourself, which is how it was before. Now that you've relaxed, now that you've come to a point of acceptance with yourself, now that you're not feeling like you need to make any apology, you're not overthinking things, you know, there's not this low level anxiety that's kind of gripping your heart all of the time. It's just freed up loads of energy for you to kind of observe things more as they are, rather than how you were afraid that they were, which is how it was before. And it feels a little bit like you're kind of contemplating your future. I don't feel like you're taking any particular action towards it yet, but with this Ace of Cups and this Queen of Cups, it's more about fulfilling the emotional side than anything else. It could be that you've taken up a hobby or something. But this World card does indicate a completion on something, right? It is contemplating a shift. I think it's contemplating pulling something to an end and starting something else. But starting something else that comes from this very clean heart place. Like I said, I don't think that you've actually taken any action towards it yet, but I think it's on your mind, and I think you're starting to ruminate on it and mull it over. And if you are, I have to say, it looks like it would go very well for you. With those cards that are there, it looks like it's going very well. If you're not ruminating on a change, then it is just potentially that you're just being noticed. And the opportunities are just kind of coming in for you. And those opportunities, they may not be things like promotions or stuff like that, but it's an opportunity for people to know you as you are. And I think that that's bringing you a lot of joy. I think that's bringing you an awful lot of satisfaction. Shit. So let's have a look, see what you should be focusing on this week. Page of Wands and the High Priestess. That's interesting. So the Page of Wands is all about the precursor to movement. And it's interesting that we should have just been saying about that. Okay. It's not movement itself, but it's the contemplation, the excitement of a potential change, a potential shift that's coming into your life in some sort of way. The High Priestess is talking about that intuitive guidance. And Taurus, I am delighted to see this here for you because of the difficulties that you had for such a long time in identifying when it was your intuition that was talking to you rather than your shadow. This feels to me like you have a very clear connection with your intuition at the moment, and your intuition is kind of pushing you in a direction, right? At this point, just contemplate how you could change things up, right? How you could switch them up a little bit. Look at those two cards, aren't they glorious? Absolutely beautiful. And maybe it is that you've realised instinctively that it is maybe now time to move on from where you are. Maybe it's time to do something a bit different, you know. Like I said, at this point, there's no movement, but there is the contemplation of it. And I feel like it's been nudged at you by Spirit. Ace of Swords. The Devil. High Priestess, and the Temperance card. That's glorious. I really, really like this. We've got the Hermit here, right? We've got the Ace of Swords, the Devil, the High Priestess, and the Temperance card. Now, let's jump to these two, because I'm sure you probably would have been absolutely stricken when you saw that Devil here, but no, not so. I think this is absolutely beautiful, because as well as the card of Capricorn, as it is, this is a card of Pisces. And so it could be that there's a Capricorn or Pisces that you might want to, you know, listen to the advice of this week, possibly. There is one set of cards that speak to me about pure creativity, right? Now, there are lots of cards in the tarot that talk about creativity, right? And fuck, the High Priestess is one of them, right? Gambolling off as she has just done, like a spring lamb. Because she's a channel, right? So she's pulling that inspiration down from somewhere and then it's occupying this. But the Devil is not all bad. There isn't a single card in the tarot that is all bad or all good, right? They all have flip sides. The entire material realm is the purview of the Devil, right? So yes, it's about toxicity and fear and all those kind of things. But it's also about everything made solid. And when I see these two cards together, they talk about an artistic idea that is drawn down, inspiration that is drawn down from somewhere. And then there is a way of making it tangible, a way of making it observable to other people. It is the creation of art here, Taurus. Now, it might be something as obvious as the fact that you paint or you draw or you make things, it's like whatever it is, maybe sew stuff. But this week, you are getting some incredible insights, some incredible downloads, actually, it feels like to me, Taurus. And not only that, because it's you have a way with your practical mind that you can put it so that other people can perceive it too. Whether it is the creation of a thing, or it's an idea that you had for a business, or an idea that you've had for work, like whatever it is, there is the inspiration and then the manifestation of it in the 3D, right there. This is a card of inspired thinking, of creative thinking, of epiphanies, flashes of insight. Let's stick that in there too. And then we have the Temperance card, which is a card of balance, a card of healing. And you are on a healing path. Whatever you are drawn to do this week that comes in a flash of creative brilliance. Maybe it's even writing something down, making a piece of music, whatever it is. Concentrate on that, because there's something really healing for you in there with that, and maybe it is when you do that this week, it sparks off a whole chain reaction of ideas about where it is that you could go, right? Where is it that spirit is kind of pulling you, the universe, source, whatever? What direction are you being gently nudged in? Because this feels like a big nudge to me. Be like, hey, Taurus, have you considered this? And then you go, if I, you do a thing, and then you're like, I could do this all the time. This would be amazing, I love it for you. Right. Let's have a look and see what Taurus should avoid this week. Oh, fuck me. We've got the 5 of Wands and the 5 of Swords. An interesting combination for you. And in the spirit of the reading, it feels like it's an admonishment of sorts, or rather a level of caution, right? Remember how we started out the reading with the notion that there might have been something that catalyzes here, the eruption of this 10 of Swords energy, in front of you to have to deal with. Finding another way to look at it, finding a way, to work, just remembering that you're fucking strong and you can do anything that you want. I mean, I'm fucking here for you all day long, Taurus. Like, you've got this. You know that you've got this. This is kind of like an exhortation not to be sucked down into, old thought patterns with the 5 of Swords, feeling like you can't do things, feeling like, this energetic impotence in your ability to be able to, influence things in the world, but also that internal conflict that comes with it. When you sit there and you're trying to be brave and trying to be practical and trying to do your work and trying to be on your spiritual path, and everything's fucking going wrong, and then suddenly, those little thoughts start like, well, does this person hate me? Is that why they've done this? Remember, everything is a projection. Ultimately, when you really, really learn that lesson, you will never take offense at anyone or anything ever, because they are showing you who they are by those kind of behaviors. Like, you don't have to react to it. You just cease to react to it at all, because it's not about you. Now, the interesting thing is, as I pulled those cards out, look what's at the bottom of the deck. There's that alternative version of the 10 of Swords that I was telling you about there. You are going from this to this in the course of a week, Taurus, because you can, right? Big, proud, capable animal. And you don't want to sabotage yourself by falling into this. Tell me about the 5 of Swords and the 5 of Wands. Hierophant in reverse. Hierophant in reverse with the Knight of Pentacles and the Magician. The Hierophant in reverse is speaking specifically to allowing this to destabilize you, right? Whatever's going on around you, allowing it to rock you too much. You are an ancient fucking island, remember that, right? But this Knight of Pentacles and this Magician is interesting because what I'm being told is slightly sideways of the meanings of these two cards. And what it's saying is sort of asking you to remember that your thoughts have weight. Your words have weight. Whether you believe you can or whether you believe you can't, you are right in both instances. Like, if you allow yourself to fall into those thought patterns, like, you create that existence for yourself. You've worked too fucking hard to get out of that, to just let it slide back in, you know? If you say the words, I can't do this, this is too much, for fuck's sake, you know, well, probably not for fuck's sake, I say that all the time, right? You're immediately laying out the parameters of your reality right in front of you, you know? And then, yeah, of course you can't do it because you don't believe you can do it, Taurus. Courage. Mubbles. Plural. Remember who the fuck you are, right? And remember that this is your aim. Transmuting this into this. Right. Whew. Okay, Taurus, I'm going to leave it there. I really hope that helped. I'm going to put all of these cards back. And we will move finally to Virgo. I hope that fucking noise stops, I swear to God. It's been going all day. And there have been too many days where the noise has been so bad that I haven't been able to record videos. I just have to cope with it when it's like a little bit less terrible than it usually is. To do it then. So I'm sorry about the noise. Anyway, we are moving on to Virgo. So same for you, Virgo. I'm going to take 5 shuffles. So 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Virgo, your card is Origins. Interesting. Let me get the book. I shall read you what it says. Find people fucking shouting now and all sorts. Right. I observe the collective subconscious of my family, filled with unresolved issues. These outstanding matters of my ancestors recreate situations for me in my current family tree. Repeating past events is an unconscious manner of honour and loyalty to my ancestors. It is a subliminal way of communicating that we are all part of the same tribe. In order to move forwards and respect my own path, I need to become aware of my tree and acknowledge the pain of my ancestors. If needed, I lament their sorrow and I release that family loyalty. The more I become aware of my history, the more light I shed on each relative, ancestor, descendant, and myself. I understand that I am my family tree, and if I want to break free from inherited burdens and know myself better, I can always recover valuable information from my genealogy. What is the origin of my name? Have I assumed responsibilities that are not mine? Are there family secrets yet to come to light? There is not a bigger relief than starting to be what one is. Since our infancy, they have foisted on us foreign destinies. We are not in a world to fulfill our parents' dreams, but ours. This is a card of cutting bonds, Virgo. The key to healing requires me to look beyond what my ancestors offered me as a life experience, positive or negative. I accept that, from a higher perspective, any experience is love. I thank my ancestors that I exist. The best way of cutting bonds while honouring my family and ancestors is to do what I deserve. My needs are valid. I deserve to live in peace. I love this for you, Virgo. I really, really do. Like, obviously, what we're talking about very strongly there is generational karma. the ways in which it comes through, you know, the family line, and you know, the shadow of the family line. For whatever reason, it has stopped with you, Virgo. And perhaps, you know, the most telling representation of this is the last year or so of your life, but you may have found that that has been actually following you around since a very, very young age. You know, you may have found that your life is actually full of examples of the ways in which this has been kind of coming through. Now, it's incredibly brave, the journey that you have been on, Virgo, and I want you to know that before I say it, but just regardless of anything else, you are so very fucking brave, and I fucking see you and see you for who you are. But the weight of a lot of what you've been carrying around is so heavy, is so burdensome, that I don't honestly believe that all of it is yours. It feels like you are carrying the burden of generations, and it's been beautiful to see you begin to open up, to see you work through all of that trauma, yours and your line's trauma, you know, because what you heal in yourself, you heal in the collective, and the collective might be the people that are around you, but the collective might also be your ancestors, and they might be the people that come after you. They may be your children, your grandchildren. They may be people that you will never live to meet, right? Because they're coming down 2, 3, you know, generations down the line, whatever it is. But you have taken a stand, and you are not allowing what has happened to you to carry forwards. That is an incredibly stunning piece of bravery right there, Virgo, and it warrants acknowledging for sure. Let's have a look and see what the best way to navigate this particular meditation is here. Oh, it's wonderful. Fuck my life, Virgo. I've just got incredible goosebumps. Here you go. Cards are saying it too. Ace of Pentacles and Strength. Right? This is a week for acknowledging your courage. This is a week for seeing what incredible strength it takes to start again in the way that you have done. And sometimes the world gets a bit overwhelming, and sometimes it gets a little bit too much, but look at everything that you survived. You've got a literal 100% survival rate on every single day that you have lived since you were born. It's great. It's wonderful. It's perception, perspective, you know. But whatever happens around you, whatever happens in front of you, whatever happens, you know, in your 3D, no one can ever take this away from you. I feel quite emotional looking at these cards, I'm not gonna lie. So this week, if you are looking for something to meditate on, if you are looking for something to ruminate on, if you're looking for something that shows you the next step of your spiritual path, it might well be an acknowledgement or even an identification of the ways in which the generational karma is exhibiting itself in your current environment, and what you do about it, how you tackle that, while still remembering how very fucking brave you are and how very successful you are. I said the word successful and then looked down at the thing, and there's a 6 of Wands at the bottom of the deck. You're doing it, Virgo. You're fucking doing it, and it's brilliant. Tell me about love and interpersonal relationships, Virgo, please. Thank you. We have the Hermit. So maybe not a week where you're particularly wanting to spend much time around a lot of people. You know, we've got the Knight of Swords at the bottom of the deck, and I feel like it's just people are a little bit too chatty for you at the moment. It feels like there's quite a lot going on inside of you. Like I said, for almost all of the signs, it seems like there's something deeply spiritually transformative going on for them this particular week. And it's really interesting how the readings have played out. When I sat down here and I was told, no, don't do it all in one go. And I was like, oh, really? Oh, fuck, but like, it works better like that. No. And I was like, fuck, right, okay. Get the Oracle cards out. And I'm like, well, all right, fucking hell, all right, I'll do that. Deeply, spiritually transformative, right? I feel like other people are just a bit chatty. Too much going on in your head. You can't concentrate on what I'm saying, right? You know, I've said to you, like, the cave will always be your sanctuary. It is a place where you can always retreat to when you need to, when things get a bit too loud on the outside. The important thing is to remember that at times it is, then appropriate for you to leave the cave again. And I think that this is a lesson that is really sitting comfortably with Virgo at the moment. But don't think that the cave isn't an option, because it is. And actually, I think that this week you are withdrawing and you are sitting in that cave. You are ruminating on a lot of things that are kind of coming up. Maybe they're coming up through, maybe it's coming through downloads, maybe it's coming through your own personal practice, maybe you're sitting down and doing a bit of work with the tarot cards or, Reiki or whatever it is. But it seems like there's a lot going on, and the answers are within you. We know that. But more than that, I feel like this week, so it's like this. Every answer to everything I would ever need sits in here, right? I'm not getting new answers coming in. They're just here already. What I'm learning to do is ask the right questions. And it feels to me like this week, Virgo, you are asking the right questions so that you can find that route straight into the wisdom that sits within you already. Tell me about the Hermit, please. Yeah. We've got the Hanged Man, interestingly, and the Nine of Cups. I think that there's quite a lot being revised within you. Now think about how much your life has changed in the last 6 months. Think about how much it changed in the last year, in the last 2 years. You've been down to the gates of hell and back up again. It makes perfect sense that along the way, the things that you think would make you happy, the things that you think that would make you content, might shift and change and evolve as you are, navigating your way through all of this. Now, the Hangman does talk about, you can talk about submission, sacrifice, and all of those kind of, dark things. But you can also just talk about a simple change of perspective. But things can be simple, and they can be incredibly fucking profound at the same time, right? So let's not get hung up on the fact that it is simple. But I do think that it is simple for you. I think that the fact that you're asking the right questions this week about your relationships, maybe about the way that you conduct them, about the people that are involved, that sort of thing. Feels to me like the answers are just coming to you this week, Virgo. And necessarily, I think it involves a pulling back away from people, because people are noisy and people are distracting. And even when they're not saying anything, their brains are whirring really loudly, and you're like, oh my God, we stop thinking so loud, Jesus. I'm trying to concentrate here, trying to eat my dinner, what the fuck, So I get it, right? Just my Saturn's in Virgo, interestingly. I wonder if that's why I get so fucking mad about the noise. God, I never really considered that while I'm working. Anyway. This Nine of Cups isn't just about the things that make you content and happy. It's about taking responsibility for what you are going to bring into your life that makes you content and happy. It's knowing that you ultimately have control. And more than that, it's a matter of perspective. What might send, a spoiled American child into a, paroxysm of fucking horror as a Christmas present, might be the world to another child in a deprived place. It's all about the way that you are looking at things. And I think that there's a great deal of gratitude for what you have right now. And I don't think that you would have thought a year ago that you could have got to that place, because the Five of Cups was very much more what was going on with you there. It was about what you had lost. But the fact is, you've shifted your attention to those two cups that remained, and now that gratitude is flowing out of you everywhere. And you might say it's changed your life in some ways. I don't think that that's an overstatement for Virgo to say that. So it doesn't necessarily feel like it's the acquisition of more relationships, of more people being in your life. It feels to me it's about honouring those that are sitting in there. It's about being grateful for what you do have. I don't think that I need to tell you that particularly, because I think that you feel it. But you do need to honour also the fact that at times you will need to retreat to the cave. And this is one of those. It's okay. Your head is full of stuff. People understand. People will wait, you know. Let's have a look at your material environment. Oh, my life. Material environment. We have the Chariot, so we've got some movement going on here. I mean, this could literally refer to your car. You might have been having issues with your car. Might be your car getting fixed. You might be getting a new car, right? Chariot's always about that movement, and it can literally be as literal as that. But it's about goal setting, right? It feels to me a lot like what is going on with you at the moment is there's a Virgoan kind of aspect of, you know, problem solving going on, because when you're not stuck in a place of overthinking everything, actually you're quite complex problem solvers. You're very good. The stuff that seems very, very obvious to you that wouldn't occur in a month of Sundays to different signs, right? Because it's a very practical element to the way that you see things. But the Chariot ultimately is about setting a goal and then going on that journey to hit that goal, right? It's very balanced, very aligned, very determined to succeed. It's a card that indicates victory. So if there's a plan that you've been putting, you know, in motion, it could well be that you're starting to see where that becomes successful. Obviously, you know, with regards to a business or an employment situation, something like that. Maybe you're looking for a new home, maybe you're looking for a new car, you know, something like that. Making a plan, going and executing the plan, and then leading inexorably to success. Tell me about the Chariot card, please. Yeah, so here's the thing, Virgo. Have you been up in your head about a problem that you've got? Because we've got the Five of Cups. Interestingly, I should have mentioned it before, and there it shows up. We've got the Five of Cups and we've got the Ten of Wands there. Right? There is something lost here, and there is burden associated with this. I feel like this is some sort of issue that's been bothering the shit out of you for the last couple of weeks, and it, in some way, you know, involves your material circumstances, house, work, business, finances, something like this. This feels to me like this week you find a way of breaking through that, right? And maybe it's as simple as sitting down and going, okay, right, let's stop catastrophizing for a second. Let's get figures down on paper. Let's look at this practically and see what, you know, what needs to be shuffled around to get the result that I actually want. And then I'm going to start doing that thing. I'm not joking when I say I could cry. The amount of noise was such a headache, I can't even tell you. Anyway, it's not just one thing either, it's fucking everywhere. Everybody's just so noisy. Let's have a look and see what you should be focusing on this week. Well, Seven of Pentacles. That's really interesting. Right, so where are you exerting energy that you don't need to be, Virgo? Right, the Seven of Pentacles is all about a situation that isn't quite right for some reason or another, right? Have you identified the way in which it isn't quite right, or is it just a feeling? So if you haven't, then it's time to sit down and have a look at that, right? See if you can nail down exactly what that is. But I like the Seven of Pentacles because it's about it is about that act of sitting down and going, right, okay, this isn't okay. This isn't right. I need to sort this out. How do I do it? It's taking a very practical approach to it moving forwards. And certainly with regards to what's going on in your material environment, it looks like it needs a little bit of mental energy, but ultimately it is like, where are you expending energy that you don't need to be? Right? What are you paying for that you don't need to be? When was the last time you looked over your finances? You know, I've said this before with the signs that came back and said you were absolutely fucking right. And I'm like, well, you know, what have you just allowed to auto renew? You know, what TV subscription services are you paying for that you never fucking watch? You know, things like that. Are you paying for your insurance twice? It's that kind of energy. It's like, right, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to problem solve this. Tell me about the Seven of Pentacles, please. I've got the Page of Pentacles and the King of Cups. Yeah, it's there you are again at the bottom of the deck. And I think it's about taking this kind of like emotionally mature view of the fact that you disrupted yourself recently in the best way possible, you know, by coming back online and starting again. Some of you moved, you know, not just down the street, but, you know, great distances. There was a restarting of your life after that period of being held in abeyance. Right? When you come back, and they're like, right now I'm restarting everything. There are going to be teething problems with that, and that's okay, right? We just take that emotionally balanced view that it's like, you know, we'll just sort through it, we'll work through it bit by bit, and identify the things that are less than optimal at the moment. You know, just keep that in mind. Let's have a look and see what you should be. Oh yeah, we've got 6 of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck, speaking about keeping balanced. What should Virgo avoid this week, please? Got the Knight of Pentacles in reverse. If the Knight of Pentacles is slow movement, the Knight of Pentacles in reverse is an absolute lack of movement. It's like, don't put off the things that you know need doing, because ultimately they actually just, they don't disappear, right? You know this, they don't disappear. They sit in the back of the head and then they knitter at you about the fact that they need to be done. You kind of walk around with this doom feeling that there are things that need to be done that you're not doing it. Break it down into small pieces, because there's nothing unmanageable here for you at all, right? And slow movement is better than no movement. Which sign was it? I was a couple of months ago, told them about my like 5-minute thing. As someone with autism and I think undiagnosed ADD, sometimes doing things is really, really hard for me, like really hard. And I know that they need doing, and I look at it like, you need doing. And then for some reason I just can't bring myself to do it. No, I go and do something else instead, right? So I kind of developed this 5-minute thing. So if I've got something that I need to do, and I really, really don't want to do it, but it really, really needs doing, make a deal with myself that I'll do it for 5 minutes, right? So I go and do it for 5 minutes. After 5 minutes, I'm like, how is this going? Is it as awful as I thought it would be? If the answer is yes, then I stop. Then I go and do something else. If no, then I just continue until I've got to the point where I don't want to do it anymore. Right? I go do something else. And then the next day, I'll do the same thing. 5 minutes. The point is, after a week, even if you still really, really don't want to do that thing, after a week, you've still spent 35 minutes doing that thing, which is 35 minutes more than you would have done before, if you didn't do it at all. It's not ideal, but it's something, at least, right? Just kind of knittering away at it. 95% of the time when I start doing something, I'm like, oh, actually, do you know what? Like, I'm doing it now, it's all fine, you know? And so actually the thing gets completed. It's like that energy of going, I'm going to break this down into little chunks. If there's a reason why I'm finding it a bit too much, then I just do it for a short amount of time and then I'll go do something else. You know, if you're feeling brave, you can do it for 10 minutes and then, you know, that's an hour and 10 minutes by the end of the week that you've got sorted. Banging. Some movement is better than no movement. Little steps are better than no steps. Tell me about the Knight of Pentacles in reverse, please. Got 5 of Pentacles twice at the bottom of both decks here. Lack, poverty, or a fear thereof. Where is the fear of something stopping you from doing the thing? Right? As somebody with autism and ADD, I can tell you that sometimes things become very threatening, even though to do nothing about them would be more threatening. I still find it really, really threatening. I don't do it. The best way to stave this off, little steps, because you've built a new foundation for yourself. And like I said, there are going to be teething problems. There are things that you're going to need to work through in order to get it, you know, operating efficiently to the way that you enjoy it. But if you ignore it, it won't happen. Right. Virgo, I'm going to leave it there. I'm really, really sorry about the noise, if any of it came out in the microphone. Really sorry about that. Hopefully next week it'll be quieter. So know that I love you all very, very much, and I will see you soon.